Happy Saturday, dear friends. I wanted to share some thoughts around meditation today, and more specifically, the healing aspect in the therapeutical way of meditation. I know that many people don't actually get the idea of it and don't really get in what way meditation is supposed to help. And so I wanted to give you a more hands-on explanation to things to maybe kind of have you curious about it. So basically what I want you to think is that you are a nervous system. Okay, you're a whole organism, but one thing that's very active inside of you and kind of decides on who you are and how you act is your nervous system. And so your nervous system is conditioned after what you've been through in life. So when I say you are the sum of all your past experiences, which is something I always like to say, it is exactly that. It means that everything that you've been through in life has an effect on your nervous system. Okay, and so basically, most of us have a rather dysregulated nervous system, if you will, which means that whenever we lash out about something, whenever we lose our cold, our calm, our cool mind, it is actually our nervous system that's been triggered. And so we're dysregulated because actually it happens much more than we would want to choose for it to happen. And when we sit down and meditate, something very simple happens, and that is that we start to relax. Okay, it might take a little bit, but when we found a position that's quite comfortable, we sit down, and then after a while, in the quietness and the stillness and all of that, we begin to relax. Now, when we begin to relax, it means that the nervous system begins to relax. The nervous system begins to relax and switches on what we would call the parasympathetic mode, or commonly known as rest and digest. And that's exactly what happens with us on a more energetic or spiritual or thought emotional level. You see, when we rest and digest, what do? We rest, we relax. Okay, and then this thing happens that in spiritual circles can sometimes be called that we create space. There's a spaciousness that happens, there's a stillness that happens. When the nervous system relaxes down, it then allows for whatever needs to come to the surface to come up to the surface, and then we can digest that as well. Okay, so it's not just actually a question of your metabolism being able to digest your food when you're in this mode. It's also that all the things that we keep pushing down comes to the surface and allows for us to actually deal with it. Now, what does this look like? And this is where it's really interesting to understand that you're not alone. What it looks like is I start practicing meditation a little bit, I sit down, I begin to relax, and then I become very, very agitated. I become very, very agitated because actually all these things that I never really deal with comes to the surface. And so that will have a triggering of the nervous system happening. But if I can allow for that to be, then I can actually begin to digest all of that stuff, which means that we will go through a time in our meditative practice that will be difficult, and there will be ups and downs, and they will come back and so forth. But it's perfectly normal to practice meditation in the beginning and not really getting the hang of it, and then starting to feel really uncomfortable with it. But that's just actually the healing process of it all, because it's as if you're kind of allowing your nervous system to go back to its initial state. But then, of course, everything that we've been dysregulated in, that we've been pushing down, that we put on ice, naturally needs to pop up. And that's when I create that space, it comes to the surface. And that's how I deal with it, because I need to be able to deal with it in order to let it go. So stay with it.